Hello, guys, and welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're going to be doing an interview with Mr. Galyan or Ty Galyan, and he played against Austin Reeves and watched Malik Monk whenever he was in high school, and we're just going to talk to him about his experience today. So, Evan, you take it away.
I was gonna say my first question, how in the world did you get from a basketball player to a social studies teacher at a junior high?
That's supposed
That's
to be
a
about.
that's a great question. I grew up. I'll be honest with you. Whenever I was growing up and I was younger, I was not very good at basketball. So I didn't think I had much of a career or at all future playing basketball. But I knew I loved the sport. I loved watching it growing up. I loved talking about basketball. But here's a funny little story. Whenever I was in the seventh grade, we were playing one of the best teams in our conference, and I was tiny. I was a tiny little guy whenever I first started playing basketball, and we had like 6 seconds left, and we were down by one,
Oh, shoot.
and our point guard passes the ball up the court to me, and I just get it long enough to turn and shoot a 3-point shot, and then I got fouled. And the timer went out as the ball was up in the air. Of course, I got fouled, so it was an air ball, not even close to the rim. But I went to the free throw line, and I had three free throw shots. And so I go to the line. Time's expired, so it's just me
Right.
on the free throw line. My team's back at the bench. Their team's
That's
over there.
right.
Yeah, especially the seventh grader. And I walk up to the line down by one, miss the first shot, miss the second shot, miss the third shot. Walk off the court. And from that moment on, I told myself I was never going to be embarrassed on the basketball court like that ever again. Uh, and so that's when I kind of started putting in all the work to get myself, better player all around. And so, from that moment forward, I try to invest in all my time in playing basketball. And honestly, by my senior year, I felt like I got myself to a pretty good place, but knew that I definitely didn't really have like a future playing basketball. I think I could have possibly been, recruited to go play at like a Division II or something like that, but I just didn't really want to go that route. And so I went to Harding University and started my education degree and thought about coaching. Honestly, being a social studies teacher, you know how that is. A lot of people think
Yeah.
social studies teachers are also coaches a lot. And but got my job and didn't have to coach. And that's how I kind of became a U.S. history teacher. But definitely still have a love and passion for basketball.
That was yeah, three free throws. Oh, that's gotta stink.
Trust me, it was like the worst. Like, you just walk into that locker room and, there's times where guys are like, oh, guys, that loss was on me. And like, people are like, no, we could have done this better. And I feel like that was one of those moments where everyone, and even I knew, yeah, that loss kind of, I mean, you could have made a free throw to at least tie it. But
Yeah. Probably couldn't even go to bed that night. I mean, I would have. I would have just stared at my walls. So whenever you now that we know your history on why you're a history teacher, what inspired you to start playing basketball? Like, was there a specific person, player, or like Giannis? No, I'm just kidding.
Giannis, I don't even know. It's weird seeing these guys in the NBA that are like younger than me, so I don't even know where Giannis was when I started playing. But
Right.
and I still view myself as kind of pretty young. But I'd have to say probably my dad. My dad was kind of the person who, like, he grew up playing basketball, and don't hold this against him, but he's a Kentucky Wildcats fan. So yeah, and so I grew up watching Kentucky basketball all the time, and watched that Anthony Davis championship team. And I know, but definitely a Hogs fan through and through now. I don't really even keep up with the Kentucky sports, but Yeah, he was the one who, he was a basketball player and loved basketball, and so he kind of introduced me to the game, and got me passionate about it. I
Are
had
you
say that again.
are you from Kentucky?
No, no, my dad is. My dad's from Kentucky, but I was born and raised here in Arkansas. So
That's probably why Malik Monk betrayed our. So I'll go Kentucky.
So, all right, go ahead. Your turn to ask a question.
I'll get one now.
Well, like, just ask a question.
But did he go against Malik Monk or did he just watch?
He watched him play, but he went against Austin Reeves.
What was it like? What was the experience like watching Malik Monk, who is currently a NBA athlete right now, and currently not balling out? It's kind of a bust.
No, he's good. He's good. It's just you don't like him.
Yeah.
See, I feel like I have an opinion on Malik Monk that a lot of people don't have. I think he's incredibly talented. I think he's incredibly athletic. And I think for his role on the Kings, I think he plays his role really, really well, coming off the bench. But seeing him in high school, so he started out school at a EPC, which was in our region, but it was on the other side of our region. So we didn't really, there was no chance for us to play him unless we made it to regionals and everything lined up. But I remember seeing him play at it was a small school called Sloan Hendricks High School. And Sloan Hendricks was in our side of the region. But I remember seeing him play there, and man, there's certain guys when you watch them, you can just see they have like a different level, different speed, just athletic ability, just a different mindset. I feel like they just know, you can just tell they know the game really well. And seeing him play and just almost just gliding across the court, he was, of course, back then just as good of a 3-point shot as he is now. But yeah, never got to actually play against him because by the time I got old enough in my junior and senior year when we were making it to regionals, that's whenever he had transferred up here to Bentonville, into the bigger school. So, but I do, this is kind of a funny story, but one of the local papers had printed out kind of the scores for the night. I can't remember what, it was just a random night, and I think I had like maybe 26 that night, and Malik had like 21. But I'm just saying, so that's kind of a little bit of a claim to fame, as I scored more than Malik, but he was playing at Bentonville against 7A schools. Yeah. And that talent there is a lot different than what I was playing against in the 2A level. So, but hey, my name is in an article with Malik Monk, so I count that as a win.
Yeah. So Evan, whenever he lived in Texas, didn't you watch Kyler play in high school, Evan?
Yeah. So Kyler, he played at Allen Eagles High School, and I mean, I was too young at the point to realize how good he was, but I remember being spoiled every time we go to one of those games. I mean, it's just either they'd get a kickoff return, a punt return, or Kyler would run it like 50 yards for a touchdown. And I remember getting to arm wrestle him. Like, they go to our elementary school, and like when you're in like either third or fourth grade, you get to go up and like arm wrestle players. And so I think it's always cool to see those younger players at like the high school level, and then like watching them be professional now. I feel like with him, if I was a little older, I would have told like, okay, this guy's actually really good, but I was too young. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, I didn't really care, but I mean, I cared, but it was like I didn't fully understand basketball. So my grandpa took me to a high school game, and like at that point, I was just like, okay, it's just a high school game. And he was telling me, man, this kid right here, and he's pointing at him. He's saying, this kid is good, and he's gonna be something. And normally, whenever he rambles on about it, he's like 70, and I'm just like, yeah, he looks kind of good, But like I started watching him, and he was actually good, and that ended up being Jalen Williams, and I'm like,
hey.
I didn't like he was playing. It was like Fort Smith against somebody else down here, but like whenever I actually saw him play, like he was good. It was like he would point, like my grandpa, he's pointing out players before, and they looked fine, but like Jalen Williams looked really good, and just, like seeing him in high school. I mean, my name wasn't in the same paper as him, but it's still kind of cool to say that I watched him play at one point.
Yeah, y'all. I told you this the other day in class, after, and I feel like that's the next. Y'all got to get Jalen Williams, Isaiah Joe on your next podcast. You know. Do you have that set up?
No, he's an OKC fan, but
Oh, okay.
So, Miss Trainer,
Yes.
we asked her for Heston Kersad like contact information.
Uh-huh.
So try and get him, and we're gonna kind of keep working our way up. And then it's like if Kamani has contact with somebody in the NBA, maybe he could get in contact with Williams, maybe he could get in contact with Gafford, stuff like that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be really awesome.
So now we've talked about you watching Malik Monk. Now, what was it like to play against Austin Reeves? You told me a few things about it.
Yeah, man. So Austin Reeves was a little bit younger than I was. So, I think the one time I remember actually playing against him was my junior year. And we played. So he played at Cedar Ridge, which wasn't too far from our school. It's kind of in between where we were and Newport, Arkansas. I believe Cedar Ridge is actually, I think it's Newark, small town. But so Austin had an older brother, Spencer, who, in my opinion, whenever I was playing, Spencer at the time was the better player in high school. And Austin he was like me, kind of a little bit skinnier, scrawnier kind of guy. And his brother was just a little bit bigger, so he was able to kind of really get whatever shot he wanted. And then they also had a couple of other brothers, Crabtree brothers. That's what I remember and called them. And those four were, to me, unstoppable. We got, like, I'm not ashamed to say, we got crushed by them almost every time we played them. They were that good. I think they might have won 2 or 3 state titles. But so the game that I remember very vividly, though, was we were playing at Pamperin High School late in the season, and we had went to Cedar Ridge and they blew us out. I mean, just blew us out of the gym. But we were putting up a decent fight when they came to our place, and we had a transfer guard who had come in from Heber Springs, who was like 6'4", definitely taller than me, but had a way better outside shot. And I remember, like, he was the one who always get the focus, he was the senior that year. So he was the one that was, always getting, pretty much man defense the entire night. And they put Austin on him. So they, someone who was younger. And I was just thinking, that's kind of a weird move. But Austin was, I'll say this very politely, he was really good at, like, the mind games and kind of the trash talk. And I remember, it wasn't even halftime, and Austin had completely thrown off this guy that was, our kind of number one, our go-to man. And so I remember, like, it was one of those moments where, I'm kind of when I play basketball, I feel like I'm very encouraging, try to be nice. I'm not much of a trash talker. So I remember equally being like, man, this guy, he's really going out there. But then I also remember having a lot of respect for him, because I was like, this is like, he has completely shut down our best player. And that was kind of the moment where it was almost like I saw a shift, and I was like, oh, okay, Austin's got a lot of potential here to go be really good. And then, after that, they moved up to 3A. We stayed at 2A. So my senior year, we actually didn't play them, which, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little happy about that, because I knew they had blown us out my junior year. So it was kind of, I was like, okay. And I think they actually went and won the state title at 3A. But yeah. So, and that was just a very vivid. I remember that in that exact game, our guard they were full court pressing us. Cedar Ridge was, and Reeves was one-on-one with our guy, and our guy got the ball in the full, was trying to break the full court press, and Reeves just kind of slid in and set up a charge. And I remember like he just got it. He was so pumped, and I don't know, that's a very vivid like memory of mine, but for some reason. And but yeah, so he was definitely fun to play against. He was very talented. Now I didn't see him at that time playing with the Lakers and LeBron James, Anthony Davis. Like I like now to actually watch him play in the playoffs and know that I played against that guy and talked with him. Like that was kind of cool. It's really cool.
So you said that in your senior year you were able to dunk, right?
Yeah. I was. I had to put in a lot of work in the off season leading up to my senior year. My coach that entire off season, we would we had basketball practice at the end of the day, so we'd go to all of our classes, and then we would come down to the gym, and when it's not basketball season, you're pretty much working out every day of the week. And so, but before I would even step into the weight room, he'd be like, "Galyan, follow me." And so I'd go into his office, and there was the weight vest there, and I'd put on the weight vest. And so everything that everybody else was doing, I was doing with an extra like 80 pounds on me.
Wow.
So, lifting weights, box jumps, all that, running stairs, running the campus. I did all of that with a weight vest. And so that, and then he had we do box jumps after lifting weights. And so there was a box that everybody else would jump on. And then my box was like up here, and he would challenge me to like, get to,
and had the vest on.
With the vest on. And so, that was one of those things where I put in a lot of work in that off season, and it really paid off. I feel like I also, between my junior year and my senior year, I gained a lot of confidence. I had a coach that I had a lot of different coaches in school, but this coach was the same coach my junior year and my senior year. And I remember him giving me a lot of confidence. He like believed in my abilities, and I think that's a big part of what made me so successful my senior year. Is I knew my coach trusted in me and had confidence in me. And so I remember being a little fearful going into my senior year, thinking like, okay, I'm going to be the one that everyone's going to try to focus on. They're like the other team's defense, they're going to put the man guard on me the entire game.
Right.
And I was afraid that like for some reason I wasn't going to be ready for that, prepared for that. And so, but yeah, I had a really, really good senior year. I was my very first high school in-game dunk actually came from a game at the FedEx Forum where the Grizzlies play.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, super cool story. So our school, I guess it's like a program that the Grizzlies do where they'll bring small schools in, and you get to play a game against another small school during the day, and then they'll like they let you go out to eat, Memphis barbecue, good old Memphis barbecue, and then they let you, and then they let you back into the FedEx Forum to watch the warm-ups and the shoot-arounds from the both players or both teams, and then you could possibly get autographs. You could go talk to some of the players if they'll allow that.
Right.
And so so we were playing that afternoon, and we were full court pressing this team, and I hadn't ever even tried to dunk in a game, but we got so the way we would play a full court press is we would put basically our two biggest guys, which was me and one of my best friends. His name was Dylan Turley. So we would play up top and try to get deflections because we were long and tall. And then we put kind of our two guards kind of at half court, and then we kind of usually put like maybe a point guard or maybe our two guard back as a safety guy. And I remember Dylan like dove for a steal, and while he was on the ground, threw it to me, and I just caught it and didn't ever take a dribble. I just took one step, and that was my first dunk in a high school basketball game, and it was at the FedEx Forum, so on the same rims that LeBron and at the time Zach Randolph and all those guys.
And
no, just one hand. It was just one hand.
that's cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a great feeling. Like I remember the whole sideline and bench just like went crazy, and that of course was the whole talk of the afternoon and that night. It was exciting. It was an exciting moment.
First dunk, not only was it in the stadium of the Memphis Grizzlies that LeBron James, Zach Randolph, Mike Bibby, maybe
Yeah.
they've all gone. You also dunked one-handed. That's nuts.
It was an awesome feeling. It's crazy to play in a gym that size because like we were able to bring in like our friends and family like in the stands, but they just literally took up one small section. And I was like, I can't imagine like these guys playing in front of thousands, and like when they slam at home and the place just goes insane. Like it was a really cool moment. It was a cool feeling.
Just like a fun question. Like quickly, if you like went D1 and
This might be the last one for time's sake.
so if you went like D1, went to college and like went into the NBA draft, what team would you have liked to have been drafted by?
Oh man, great question.
Dolphins.
So I feel like, I think of things like very realistically. My favorite NBA team is the Boston Celtics. I don't think they ever would have been in a position to maybe pick high. And this is just, I'm thinking like if I actually went D1 and was good enough, I would love to have been picked up by the Celtics, but more realistically, I probably would have been drafted by like the Thunder or one of the teams that I feel like usually gets those guys that aren't really well known and like tries to develop them and things like that. But if I had to pick a dream team, playing in the Garden on that parquet floor,
That'd be nuts.
all the banners in the rafters and the green. I love everything about the Celtics organization.
That would be nuts.
Yeah.
Well, I showed you we got the Ray Allen Funko Pop that I ordered. It'll be in on Thursday, and we just want to thank you for coming on and spending your time with us tonight on a Friday night.
No, of course, guys. I've never had students that have done anything like this before, so I appreciate what y'all are doing and like chasing your passion and creating this podcast. This is super cool. I feel like this is something y'all can really stick to, and y'all can be really successful doing this. And so any way I can ever support y'all, I'd love to do it. And thanks for asking me. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thank you so much. This was a great opportunity, and we're gonna Hudson Landreth, he wanted us to talk about, or like he sent me some videos to put about like his fishing thing or whatever. He does fishing flies.
Yeah.
And he sent me some videos, and we said we'll put them in at the end of the interview and stuff.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, so thank you again for being on, and this was a great opportunity, honestly.
Yeah, well, anytime I can talk sports, I love to talk sports.
That's what we do. we got a lot more time than I expected.
Yeah.
Well, good. Happy for y'all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Y'all have a good night.
Oh, you too. Have a blessed night and a blessed weekend.
See you guys.
See ya.
What's up, guys? This is Hudson from Hudson Fishing and Hunting. I'd like to say thank you to Afton for giving me a little shout out on his channel. And my channel is dedicated to fishing and hunting, and that's what I really enjoy.
So this is a fly Hudson actually made for me. It's a Kansas City Chiefs fly, and I have a few more. He gave me 3. This one is honestly my favorite. I love the colors, and it's sick. So thank you, Hudson, for giving me this. And we are gonna. He requested a shout out, so that's exactly what we're gonna do. So I'll leave his channel down, and I'll put it in the community page, and I'll put it on Facebook. So Hudson Fishing Flies, or Hudson Fishing and Hunting. Check him out.
Guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away.